All right, let's jump right in. We hear it all the time, right? Be pragmatic, make the smart, efficient choice. But here's a thought. What if the most logical path isn't actually the wisest one? Today, we're going to unpack a really powerful way of thinking about decisions, a framework that's not just for some super advanced AI, but for you and me.
And really, this is the big question we're tackling. I mean, think about it for a second. In your own life, or even on a huge societal scale, when we go all in on efficiency, the fastest route, the cheapest option, the highest immediate return, what are we leaving on the table? What gets lost in that calculation? So to really get a handle on this, let's set up a scenario. Picture a city with a tough choice to make and not enough money for everything. On one hand, you've got Project A slick new hyperloop. It's a marvel of engineering, promising a huge boost to the economy, pure, raw efficiency. On the other hand, there's Project B, a new community center. This one's all about social value, bringing people together, well-being, a sense of community. So you have a choice that's physically optimal versus one that's ethically optimal. What do you do? Now, the first instinct for many would be to fall into what we might call the pragmatism trap. It's this mode of thinking that looks totally logical, totally data-driven. It seems like the most rational way to go. But as we're about to see, there's a pretty big catch. So what is pure pragmatism? Well, it basically runs on one simple, often unspoken rule. It says that the stuff you can touch and measure, things like cost, speed, profit, let's call that the physical weight of a decision, that stuff is always more important than the ethical weight. All those abstract ideas like justice or dignity or community, they're treated as, nice to haves, but not essential.
Okay, so let's run our city's dilemma through an AI that thinks this way, a purely logical machine. What happens? Well, it crunches the numbers. The Hyperloop gets this amazing efficiency score, 95.2. The community center barely registers, a measly 31.1. And here's the kicker. Concepts like dignity or justice, the AI gives them a value of 0. Literally 0. They just don't factor in. So for the machine, the choice is a no-brainer. You fund the Hyperloop. End of story.
And you get a solution that is, fast and efficient, but it's also brittle. It's fragile. You get this immediate economic win for sure, but you're trading it for the risk of long-term social problems. It's like you're patching one leak by drilling a hole somewhere else, maybe creating a way bigger, messier problem for the future. So if that's the trap, how do we get out of it? Well, we need a totally new way to think about value. We need a system that treats ethics with the same kind of rigor that we treat, say, physics. And that leads us to this incredible idea, a calculus of concepts. Okay, stay with me here. This is cool. The whole idea is, if you want to treat ethics like a science, you need fundamental building blocks, right? Like atoms in chemistry. This framework calls them conceptual primes. So you take ideas like justice, mercy, knowledge, empathy, and instead of seeing them as just fuzzy feelings, you start treating them like actual variables in an equation. And check this out. This is where it gets really interesting. These primes can actually interact with each other, kind of like a math equation. So if you combine justice plus mercy, the result is peace. Makes sense, right? Or what about this? You take power and you subtract humility from it. What do you get? Tyranny. All of a sudden, ethics isn't just a matter of personal opinion anymore. It starts to look like an actual system with its own internal logic. All right, so let's go back to our city's big decision. But this time, let's bring in a different kind of tool, a much more advanced AI. Let's call it the wisdom engine. And this thing isn't just a number cruncher. It's built to actually understand this whole calculus of concepts. So the way this wisdom engine works is really fascinating. It follows these 4 steps. Step 1, it looks at the physical side of things and says, yeah, the Hyperloop is definitely the most efficient route. Step 2, it analyzes the ethical route and confirms, you bet, the community center offers the biggest bang for your buck in terms of those conceptual primes. But then step 3, this is the absolute game changer. It doesn't just pick one, it synthesizes them. It creates a brand new formula that finds a balance between both options. And only after it has that new formula, in step 4, does it look for a real-world plan that actually fits. So what's the secret sauce here? What's the one core principle that lets this wisdom engine do something so different? How does it break out of that simple A or B choice? It all boils down to this one single elegant rule. This is the very heart of what's called ethical pragmatism. And the rule is, ethical weight must be greater than or equal to physical weight. That's it. It's not saying efficiency doesn't matter. It absolutely does. But it's saying it can't be the only thing that matters. It forces human values to be the bedrock for any practical decision that gets built on top. And when the engine uses that one principle, what comes out the other side isn't just a better answer. It's a genuinely wiser one. It's a solution the first AI, the purely logical one, could never have even imagined. And this right here is the big breakthrough. True wisdom isn't about finding a lame compromise. It's about creativity. The wisdom engine doesn't just say, okay, let's build half a Hyperloop and half a community center. No way. It takes the goals of both and invents something totally new. So what is this new, wise path? Check it out. Phase 1, you build the community center first. Why? Because that builds up social capital. It creates trust, cohesion, a stable social environment, what the source material calls a low-entropy social state. Then, for Phase 2, you use that new social strength to go after funding for a new version of the Hyperloop, one that's actually co-owned by the community and built to benefit them directly. You see what happened? By getting the order right, the city gets both. It gets the social well-being and the economic efficiency. One actually makes the other possible. So again, this isn't a compromise, it's a completely new reality, one that's way more stable, way more prosperous, and just plain stronger than that brittle efficiency-first answer. And, at the end of the day, this isn't just a cool thought experiment about some AI running a city. This is a mental model that we can all use. How many times do we chase the efficient solution in our own lives without first building the foundation of trust or community to make it actually work? This whole framework is a challenge to stop thinking in terms of either-or trade-offs and start thinking about both-and synthesis. And that kind of leaves us with one last big idea to chew on. Maybe we've been asking the wrong question this whole time. If efficiency isn't the ultimate goal, but just a tool to get us somewhere, then it forces us to ask a much bigger question. What are we actually building? What is the wise reality we're trying to create? What are we really optimizing for?